Da, 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 na, 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 da. Star Wars. You love it. I love it. Well, maybe you don't love it, but I love it. If you don't love it, maybe don't watch this video. Star Wars is the greatest thing on the planet. I'm quite a fan of Star Wars. If you couldn't tell, I'm obsessed with it. And, I've been collecting these figures, and, I felt like it'd be fun to show off all of my Star Wars figures. I don't know if you think that would be interesting or not, but let's just fucking dive right into it. Most of these figures are from the animated series, like, Clone Wars and Rebels. There's some movie stuff here and some of the live-action TV show stuff here, but it's mostly Clone Wars and Rebels. And I don't even know where to begin with all this, so let's just dive right into it. And I guess I should throw in a spoiler warning. I don't know how much detail I'm gonna get talking about these guys, but pardon me. Yeah, so spoiler warning, just in case I spoil anything, in case you've never seen any of the Star Wars stuff and plan on watching it. So let's just do it. Let's just do it. Welcome to my video where I show off my Star Wars figures. Because why not? Let's get this guy out of the way. When Darth Maul makes his return in Clone Wars, he's like this spider guy with he's got the spider cyborg legs. And I'm gonna show off this guy first because this is not an official figure. This is actually some random custom-made figure that I found on eBay. Here's a better look at him. It's random. I just got it from some random guy off eBay. It kind of resembles what he looked like in the show. They wrapped like a bunch of wire around his legs. I assume this was some other like spider toy originally that he just kind of glued part of a Darth Maul figure over. It's pretty creative either way. So we just got that one out of the way because that's not an official figure. It's just kind of a custom-made one. All right, next I'm going to show you these guys. All of these figures are like the 3.75-inch figures, except for these two that I'm going to show you. This is Captain Rex. This is a 5-inch figure. Captain Rex, of course, is one of the clones from the Clone Wars. One of my favorite characters. Not my favorite character. You'll notice that I have a lot of Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul in here because they're my two favorite Star Wars characters, so there's a lot of Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul. I have a lot of different variations of them. And I have a few variations of Rex, but nowhere near as much as Ahsoka and Maul. But yeah, this is not Commander. I almost said Commander Cody. That's a different character. This is Captain Rex from Clone Wars. And then this figure also came with it. This is Ahsoka Tano. I mainly got this figure. Captain Rex came with it, but I mainly got this figure because I feel like this looked the most like the animated. Like, out of all these figures, this one looked the most accurate to what she looks like in the show. To me, at least. But yeah, she's a badass. Ahsoka Tano. Ashley Eckstein. Eckstein? The true Ahsoka Tano. No offense to Rosario Dawson, she's awesome too, but I'd just like to add really quickly that you should totally check out the Ahsoka novel. And I also recommend the audiobook that actually has voice actress Ashley Eckstein narrating it. So it's the voice of Ahsoka reading the Ahsoka book. It's great. You should check that out. Moving on! I'm just gonna go from like the front back. I think that's how we're gonna do this. Right here we got Grievous, General Grievous. This is the cloaked Grievous from Revenge of the Sith. This figure actually originally, if you push his head in, his body would explode. But I got really annoyed by that, so I actually glued the figure together. And I know that a lot of collectors out there are probably having a panic attack when they heard me say that. I should probably mention, I'm not the kind of guy that keeps toys inside their box, because to me, I don't care about the actual monetary value of them. I like to open them up. I actually like to physically hold them in my hand and look at them. I have zero plans on ever selling these in the future, so I really don't give a shit about how much money they're worth. Personally, I love being able to get up close to them and not have to look at them through plastic. So yeah, you can judge me on that if you want. I don't really care. That's just the way I collect these figures. And yeah, I glued this one together so it stopped falling apart because it was really fucking annoying. And I just wanted to, I didn't care about the exploding action. But anyway, yeah, this is badass. The cloak does come off, but I'm not gonna, I have another Grievous that I will show you next, actually. This is the, he's in Revenge of the Sith. He's also in the Clone Wars a good amount. He's in the Clone Wars for a good amount, the animated series. Of course, here he is with he has two arms that split apart into forearms, and he wields 4 lightsabers. And this is the four-armed version, uncloaked, obviously wielding these 4 lightsabers. This one, if you push on his head, his arms move, but it's kind of it's very janky and it doesn't really look that cool. So I don't know if I can try. Yeah, so you can kind of see it. But yeah, General Grievous, everybody. Oh boy, Star Wars. Here we got another Ahsoka figure, also from Clone Wars. She's wearing her scuba gear. Came with flippers that you can put on her feet, but then you can't attach her feet to the stand, so I just put her flippers right there. This is pretty badass. I guess I really don't have a lot to say. This is kind of just a show and tell video. So, I'm showing, and, telling a little bit about, I don't know. Here's another Ahsoka figure. This one is actually from The Mandalorian. This is the Rosario Dawson Ahsoka Tano. You can tell the face resembles, the real-life actor Rosario Dawson, instead of the more animated version of Ahsoka. I prefer the animated version of Ahsoka. Actually, my favorite version of Ahsoka Tano is from the Rebels animated series, which we'll get to that when I grab that figure. So this is live-action Ahsoka. I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka TV series coming later this year. I'm hoping that's going to act a lot like a sequel series to Rebels in a way, where they're, you know, Ahsoka and hopefully Sabine shows up and Hera, and hopefully they're going to be finding Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. So, yeah. This is also Rosario Ahsoka from The Mandalorian. This is a more retro style. This design is based on the retro Star Wars figures. So it looks doesn't look as realistic as the other Ahsoka figure. It resembles what, like, the original Star Wars figures looked like when they came out, you know, back when the original Star Wars figures came out. Here we got another Captain Rex. This is one with his helmet off. As you can see, what I loved about the Clone Wars series is that even though all these clones had the same voice and the same face, they did a good job of giving them their own personalities and their own look. Like all their uniforms were different, the hairstyles were different, and they had their own unique personalities to separate themselves from just being a generic clone. One of my favorite Captain Rex figures, because yeah, I just like seeing his face. I really hope we get the live action Captain Rex. Temuera Morrison. I'm not 100% sure if I pronounced his name right, but I'm hoping that, like, we get to see him as live-action Rex. That's the actor that plays Boba Fett, obviously. Because he is, you know, Jango Fett, and Jango Fett is what the clones are clones of, including Boba Fett. This we have right here from Rebels. I think this is the first Rebels figure that I'm showing you. From Rebels, we got the fifth brother. He's one of the Inquisitors. He looks awesome in Rebels. Maybe if I remember in the edit, I'll show a picture of a good picture. This is what he looks like in Rebels. And then when they brought him into live-action Obi-Wan, he looks fucking derpy as hell. And if I have to criticize Obi-Wan Kenobi, the live-action TV series, is the way they made the Inquisitors look. Both the fifth brother and the Grand Inquisitor look weird. But this is the Rebels version of the fifth brother. A lot more badass and more intimidating compared to the live-action version. Here we have Hondo Ohnaka. My brain just died. Is that his last name? Hondo is his first name. But he appears in Clone Wars and Rebels. This figure, I think, more closely resembles what he looks like in Clone Wars. I really would love a version of him from how he looks in Rebels with what he's wearing in Rebels, but they never released a Rebels version of Hondo, so that's unfortunate. But he's a fun character. He's kind of more villainous in Clone Wars, still kind of fun, but he's more of a villain in Clone Wars. In Rebels, he's I think a little sillier. He's not as intense as he is in Clone Wars, but he's a pirate. There's a lot of fun episodes with his character in both series. He kind of befriends Ezra Bridger in Rebels, which I thought was cool. Another Rebels figure, we got one of the main characters, Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus, voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. Originally Caleb Dume when he was a Padawan before Order 66 happens. Then when he went into hiding, he changed his name to Kanan Jarrus. I highly recommend, if you read books, check out the Star Wars book A New Dawn. That's a prequel to Rebels. That's the book where Kanan meets Hera, which I'll show her figure next. That's a fantastic book and a fantastic kind of prequel to the Rebels TV series. So there's your recommendation of the day. Read A New Dawn. I could do a whole video recommending Star Wars books because I've read a shit ton of them at this point. But yeah, A New Dawn is a fun book, especially if you like Star Wars Rebels and like the characters in Rebels. A New Dawn is definitely a great book to check out. Starring Kanan and Hera Syndulla, who I'm going to show off next. Of course, Kanan, of course, is the Jedi that trains Ezra Bridger in Rebels. So here we have Hera Syndulla. A Twi'lek. I noticed, so I listen to a lot of the audiobooks, and I noticed they kind of bounce around about how they pronounce their species. Some say Twi'lek, some say Twi'leks, some say Twi'leks. Like, I've heard it pronounced so many different ways in all these audiobooks, and I've always said Twi'lek, but I'm not sure which one is actually true. Is it Twi'lek? I'm still going to say Twi'lek, because Twi'lek just, I don't know, sounds better to me. But here's Hera Syndulla, another one of the main characters from Star Wars Rebels, and of course, A New Dawn, the book I just recommended. She's another badass character. And another Rebels character that you will fall in love with if you never watched Rebels. Give it a shot. It's great. This is Zeb. He's a Lasat. There's a lot of really funny moments with him and Ezra. They have kind of like they're like best friends, but also they fight a lot, and it's especially in the earlier episodes, and it's some good funny shit. There's a fantastic episode with him and Agent Kallus where they're crash landed on this ice moon together. It's one of my favorite episodes of Rebels. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Zeb is a pretty awesome character. Yeah, this is Agent Kallus, who starts off as like one of the main villains of Rebels. He works for the Empire. Spoilers. Well, I already said there's spoilers, but he has a change of heart in the series, and at one point he's Fulcrum. He's one of the Fulcrums. He becomes a good guy, and I hated him at the start of the series, but he really does become like one of my favorite characters towards the end of the series. Unfortunately, this is the only figure that I think exists of him. I would love a version where the helmet could come off, because he's got these like crazy sideburns that are unfortunately hidden in the helmet. What's next? What's next? Here's another Darth Maul figure. This version of Darth Maul, his lightsaber is falling out of his hands. This version of Darth Maul is from Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This is the version of him during the finale when he's fighting Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, when he gets cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi. So this is Phantom Menace, Darth Maul. I forget who the voice actor is. So it's Ray Park who plays live-action Darth Maul, but it's voiced by, I forget who voices him in The Phantom Menace, but I know it's the guy who played Sean's roommate in Shaun of the Dead. Not Nick Frost, but the other guy, the more douchey asshole guy. He's the voice of Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. But then in Clone Wars, Sam Witwer does the voice of Darth Maul, and in my mind, he is Darth Maul. His voice is amazing. And if you want to read a really good book, it's part of the Star Wars Legends, so it's not part of the main, canon anymore. Darth Maul's Shadowhunter is a great book, and Sam Witwer does an audiobook for that book, and he does the voice of Darth Maul, obviously, so it's like Darth Maul is actually reading the book. He's a voice actor, so he has a ton of great voices. He does a really good Palpatine too, and I think he actually voices Palpatine in like some of the video games and stuff, maybe in some of the shows. But yeah, Sam Witwer, listen to his audiobook version of Darth Maul's Shadowhunter. It's a great book. When I read books, I actually read the book and listen to the audiobook at the same time, because my brain, if I'm just reading the book, I get distracted and then I end up not reading the book. And if I'm just listening to the audiobook without the book in front of me, my brain gets distracted and I miss things they're saying. So like the only way for my brain to focus on reading a book is if I have the audiobook playing while I'm reading. I don't know if anyone cares about any of that. Sorry for the cough. Here we have Anakin Skywalker. This is specifically Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker from the animated series. He has more of the appearance of what he looks like in the animated series. Not Hayden Christensen, Matt Lanter does the voice of Anakin in the show, and when you go from the movies and you go from watching Clone Wars the first time, the voice kind of throws you off because it sounds nothing like Hayden, but eventually you really get used to this version of Anakin, and honestly, I like this Anakin more than Hayden's version of Anakin. But yeah, this is Clone Wars Anakin Skywalker. Here's another Ahsoka Tano character. This is what she looks like at the very beginning of her first appearance in the Clone Wars movie and the first couple seasons of Clone Wars TV series. I'm burping up shit, sorry. Here we have another Darth Maul. There's a lot more. This is actually Clone Wars Darth Maul during the kind of later on in the series when the Mandalorians fix up his cyborg legs. And this is what he looks like in the finale of Clone Wars. So yeah, if you've never watched the animated series, yeah, Darth Maul does not die, obviously, in Phantom Menace. Here's another Ahsoka. This is her wearing her astronaut space gear, outer space gear, so she can breathe in space. This is like spaceman, spacewoman Ahsoka. That's all I got. That's all I got for that. Here's another Rebels character, and I'm assuming she makes her live-action debut in the Ahsoka series coming up. This is Sabine Wren. She's a Mandalorian. She's awesome. She's a graffiti artist. And at one point she ends up with the Darksaber, and then ends up giving it to Bo-Katan. Sabine Wren, everybody. Kind of somewhat love interest to Ezra Bridger, even though they don't really go too deep into that type of stuff in the show. And another Ahsoka. This is my favorite version of Ahsoka. This is what she looks like in Star Wars Rebels. She's much older in this series. Her head tails, her leku, is what you would call them, are a lot longer. This is when she has her white lightsabers. Yep, this is... I noticed in Clone Wars and even in Mandalorian, they kind of have... in Mandalorian, they gave her the kind of the same face markings that she has in Clone Wars. But if you notice, in Rebels, her face markings are completely different from what they were in Clone Wars. Who's this little guy right here? This is my all-time favorite droid of anything Star Wars related. This is Chopper. Chopper, of course, is in Rebels. He's a sassy little critter. Chopper is a great fun character who I assume will also be appearing in the Ahsoka live action series. Yeah, R2-D2, get out of the way. BB-8, nope. Chopper is the best. And here we have an R2-D2. It's pretty standard R2-D2. If you've seen R2-D2 before, this is R2-D2. This is actually, you can't really tell because it's just R2-D2, but this is specifically from the Rebels version, and here's C-3PO that came with him. You can tell it's a little more cartoony than the movie C-3PO. These are the Rebels, Star Wars Rebels versions. C-3PO, you can tell that it's more, the cartoon version. R2 just looks like R2. But yeah, these are the ones from Star Wars Rebels. Also, C-3PO is one of my least favorite Star Wars characters. I'm just gonna put that out. 3PO is annoying as fuck. People think Jar Jar is annoying, which is true. C-3PO is almost as annoying as Jar Jar. And here we have Ezra Bridger. Another, probably the main character of Star Wars Rebels. He's got his badass blaster lightsaber, which acts as a lightsaber and a gun. That's pretty awesome. Ezra is he's a great character. I got nothing else to add. I can hear my cat starting to meow at the door because he probably wants to come in, but then he'll fuck with all of this shit. So yeah, I wish I had more to say. I just think it's fun. I just think it's fun to look at these guys, and I'm sure if you're a Star Wars fan, you might enjoy looking at these guys too. What Star Wars figures do you guys have? I'd love to see your collections and stuff too. Here's another. Let's get the other Ezra out of the way. I actually ended up buying two Ezras because one of them didn't come with a lightsaber. So this one, it's technically the exact same figure as the other one, but I just put his helmet on. So I got one where he's not wearing the helmet, one where he is wearing his Stormtrooper helmet. In the show, he collects helmets. All right, here we have another character from Rebels. He's kind of a smaller character. We have Vizago. I can't remember what his full name is because I don't know. Why can't I think of it? Kikatro Vizago, something like that. Sikatro Vizago, Kikatro, Sikatro, Vizago. This is his droid that follows him around. So whenever you see him, you always see this guy. I got nothing to add to that. They're from Rebels. They from Star Wars Rebels. Whatever. Here's another Ahsoka Tano. What? What's that? What? Another Ahsoka? Get out of here! It's another Ahsoka Tano. It's another Clone Wars version of Ahsoka. This is what she looks like in the finale, in the final season when she fights Darth Maul, and when all the clones turn on her during Order 66, and Rex is the one that helps her. This is series finale Ahsoka Tano. Oh God. Well, here's another Ahsoka. We're actually on the last Ahsoka, I think. Yep, here's my final Ahsoka Tano character. That's another Clone Wars Ahsoka. This is probably the derpiest. I don't know. Her face looks like not a lot like the show, but the outfit and everything is. This is what she's wearing. During kind of the middle of the Clone Wars series, when she gets accused of being involved in a bombing in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and she gets banned from the Jedi Council. This is this version of Ahsoka, or this character is based on that version from Ahsoka, and then she's welcomed back into the Jedi but she decides, fuck you guys, I'm fucking leaving, and she does, and it's one of the most emotional moments in the series. This version also comes with her lightsaber hilts without the versions also comes with her lightsabers without the laser beam. Sorry. Here's another Darth Maul. This is another Darth Maul. This is Phantom Menace Darth Maul. From when he makes his first appearance. It's cloaked Darth Maul. Look how spooky. He's a spooky boy. Here we have another Rebels Inquisitor. This is the... ninth sister? Eighth? Fuck. The seventh sister. Right? I can't remember the number. Seventh sister, I think? I think that's who this is. This figure annoyed me because her feet are so small, it didn't have the proper holes to stand in the stand. So I just had to use double-sided tape to get her to stand on the stand. And she does not stand up on her own. Poorly designed figure right here. Well, who do we have next? Cad Bane. He's a badass character. He's a bounty hunter who first appears in Clone Wars. He has an appearance in the first season of The Bad Batch, I believe. And he also shows up in the Book of Boba Fett. I almost said Mandalorian, but technically it was Book of Boba Fett. But we all know that Book of Boba Fett was like secretly Season 3 of Mandalorian before Season 3 of Mandalorian actually came. Because like halfway through, it started off being a show about Boba Fett, and then halfway through it just fucking became The Mandalorian again. But anyway, that's a subject for a different video. Here's Cad Bane. I always loved his design because I'm a huge fan of the Wild West. I love westerns, and he is clearly inspired by the Wild West. Cool character. His hat falls off way too easily. But of course I say that and his hat doesn't fall off, but I had a hell of a time trying to keeping his hat on when I was putting him up to display on the shelf. Here we have a Mandalorian character, Cara Dune. Cara Dune. She was a cool character. Obviously, she's no longer going to be in the series because of some shit that happened with the actress playing the character. I don't really care about any of that stuff, but the character itself was pretty cool. So here is Cara Dune. And of course, also the Mandalorian, the main character himself, Din Djarin. Pedro Pascal himself, Din Djarin. This is actually the only Mandalorian figure I have so far of Din. I don't have him in the actual Mandalorian armor yet. I haven't gotten around to buying that. I wanted this one just because I wanted the one where you actually see his beautiful face, Pedro Pascal, who is a fucking fantastic actor. If you're a fan of the fucking Last of Us, the video game, the show, he plays Joel in the show, and it's so far it's fucking amazing. I just gotta say that. So there's Din Djarin. Or Djarin. Din Djarin? It might be Din Djarin. I've never been good at pronouncing names. And here we have Savage Opress. From Clone Wars. He is Darth Maul's brother. He's the one that the Night Sisters send him on a quest basically to find his long-lost brother, Darth Maul. He's a badass. He's voiced by Clancy Brown, which is actually the same guy who voices Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob SquarePants. Where's me money, SpongeBob? I apologize. I apologize for attempting to even do that impression. Savage Opress. His name is just Savage, and they just pronounce it in a fancy way. Savage. Darth Maul's brother, who was eventually killed by Palpatine. Here's another Darth Maul figure. This is another Clone Wars Darth Maul. So here's the first legs that he gets after he gets rid of the spider legs. The Night Sisters, the Night Mother, Mother Talzin, gives him these legs. This is actually like my favorite version of Maul. I fucking love this look, and I kind of wish he kept these legs for more than like 2 episodes, But yeah, this version of Maul is awesome. Here we have another Rebels character. This is actually Captain Rex. This is Rex, much older when he reappears in Rebels, and the scene where he's reunited with Ahsoka is I get really teary-eyed when anytime I watch that, especially after seeing the finale of Clone Wars and then revisiting Rebels and seeing this, because the series finale of Clone Wars came out after Rebels had aired in its entirety. So at the end of Clone Wars, you get to see what happens with Ahsoka and Rex, and just seeing them reunited in Rebels is a really emotional moment. Rex is such a great guy, great character. It's impossible to hate Rex. Well, might as well just do this other. We might as well just get all the Rex figures out of the way. This is just another Clone Wars Rex. Very much like the one without his helmet, except this one, he's wearing the helmet, and the helmet doesn't come off. Nothing much to say about it. It's standard. Helmeted Rex. Asajj Ventress. Another great character from Clone Wars, who I believe her first appearance was actually in the original 2D animated Clone Wars show, which was made by the guy that did Samurai Jack. That show is no longer canon, I believe. But she does come back in the canon version of Clone Wars, the 3D animated version by Dave Filoni. She starts off as Count Dooku's apprentice. She's a Sith, but eventually she kind of changes sides. She gets basically let go by Dooku, and she returns to the Night Sisters, and then eventually she has to take her own path, and she becomes a bounty hunter, and she even helps Obi-Wan Kenobi on occasion, and she helps out Ahsoka Tano when she's running from the Jedi after she was being accused of bombing the Jedi Temple. She helps Ahsoka out during that moment, because she learns they actually have a lot in common about being cast away and cast aside, whatever you want to say. I like Asajj Ventress. She's got a great story arc. All right, lightning round. Let's do this as fast as we can. Here we got Darth Vader. It's Darth Vader. You know Darth Vader. If you don't know Darth Vader, I don't know what to say. This is actually, more specifically, this is the Rebels version of Darth Vader. He does look a little different if you compare him to other Darth Vaders. This is Darth Vader. Nothing else to say. Lightning round. I'm rambling. We gotta finish this video because it's getting long. Here we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is what Obi-Wan Kenobi looks like in the animated series Clone Wars by David Filoni. Filoni baloney? I don't know why I just said that. Here's Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have another Obi-Wan Kenobi right here. This is him wearing his helmet. He's General Kenobi in the Clone Wars. And yeah, this is actually the same figure as the other one, but you can swap out his head. The helmet doesn't go over his head. You actually have to swap out his head. And this version I gave him, he's wearing the helmet. But it's the exact same figure as the other one. Here we have a generic clone trooper, but not so generic because it's one of the clones at the finale that's helping out Ahsoka, and to honor Ahsoka's return, all the clones painted Ahsoka's markings on their helmets. It's awesome. And that's what this clone is. This is just a generic clone. This isn't any specific character from the show. It's just one of the many clones, but with Ahsoka's face markings painted on the helmet to honor how fucking awesome she is. Here we have another Darth Maul. This Darth Maul may not look familiar because this Darth Maul is based on concept design, so of course this version of Maul wasn't actually seen in any of the movies or shows. It's just 100% based on... ooh. Could you see that hangnail? This is just based on some concept art of Maul in a different kind of jacket that you would be used to seeing him in. Nothing else to add to that. It's just it's a weird version of Darth Maul. Let's get the last Maul out of the way. This is the version that you see of him in Star Wars Rebels when he returns. He's got the spooky hood. This is what he looks like in Star Wars Rebels. In Star Wars Rebels, in Clone Wars, he wants revenge on Obi-Wan for fucking up his life. Even though Maul also killed Qui-Gon and Satine, so Obi-Wan should also want revenge, but Obi-Wan is like not all about that shit. But Maul's like, I'm gonna get revenge because you cut me in half. Finally, you get to see the final encounter between him and Obi-Wan in Rebels. Highly recommend watching that show if you've never seen it. This is Rebels Maul. Here we have a Stormtrooper. It's just a Stormtrooper, and nothing else I gotta say about that. Here we have another Anakin. Here we have another Anakin Skywalker. It's another one based off Clone Wars. I don't like this figure as much as my other Anakin figure. I actually bought this one first, and I was like, you know what? I want a better Anakin figure. So I got the other Anakin that I showed you earlier, who I think is a better Anakin than this Anakin. That's all I gotta say about that. Speed run! We're almost done! We are almost done. We got 3 more figures. Let's do this one. We got another Clone Trooper. This is Commander Cody. Another important character from Clone Wars. Commander Cody recently just made a return in The Bad Batch. It was really nice seeing him show up in that. His helmet also comes off. If you wanted to see his face. Yeah, I'll just do it for you. I'll show you. There's Commander Cody. Another great character from Clone Wars. Unfortunately, while Captain Rex was able to remove the inhibitor chip from his head so that he didn't turn during Order 66, unfortunately, Commander Cody didn't have that opportunity, and he turned during Order 66. That's unfortunate because he was one of the good guys. Here we have the Grand Inquisitor. This is the Rebels version of the Grand Inquisitor. Once again, the Rebels version of Grand Inquisitor is a lot more intimidating and just better than the live-action version from Obi-Wan, who, just like the Fifth Brother, looks fucking weird in this version. I'm not a big fan. In the TV show, it's voiced by the guy that does Lucius Malfoy, Malfoy's father in Harry Potter. And last but not least, I didn't intentionally save this one for last. I just kind of went and picked at random. But this is Grand Admiral Thrawn from Star Wars Rebels. Of course, he also made an appearance in a lot of the Legends novels before being brought into the canon. He has his own series of novels in the canon as well. A great villain from the series. Of course, if you watched Rebels, Ezra takes him far, far away in who knows where. And in Ahsoka, the upcoming series, they're looking for Thrawn and Ezra. Where could they be? We'll find out eventually. That's all my Star Wars figures, guys. I do have an Ahsoka pop figure and a couple Legos, but I just wanted to do a video about all the action figures that I have. Was this video entertaining to you? You can let me know. If it wasn't, I apologize, but here we are. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm gonna end the video now. Until next time, you stay classy, San Diego. I don't know why I just said that. I live in New York State. Bye. Oh, wait. So if you, I probably will do another video like this in the future if I get more figures. We'll do like a big update video. Also, you can follow me. You can follow me on Instagram at Alan's Media Collection. If you're a fan of physical media like DVDs and Blu-rays and vinyl records, and I also do figure updates on there as well. Follow me there. I post on there quite frequently. So yeah, more videos are coming. Stay tuned. Please subscribe and do all that bullshit that you do to stay in touch. If you found this video entertaining at all, smack that like button, bitch. This is the end of the video. Goodbye. I love you.